morning, Sainers. Now, I should be smiling. I should be ready to jump into talking about the amazing win against the Doggies on Saturday night in round 2. But, again, time after time after time, these things keep happening and they keep just putting a really, really dark shadow over these moments, over AFL in general. So I'm so glad that the club came out very quickly yesterday and put out a statement that they will not stand for this. At Saints TV, we will not stand for this. I hate getting messages, screenshots. I hate talking about it because it just feels like nothing changes it. So I'm hoping, again, mentioning it here today, that we can actually just learn and educate and grow as people from this, because football, there is no place for racism in anything on this planet, and we don't want it to be ruining our beautiful game, especially when the Saints are playing so well at the moment. We want to be focusing on that. But unfortunately, a St Kilda supporter, which just adds to it, made a derogatory racist remark towards Western Bulldogs player Jamara Ugelhagen during Saturday night's round 2 match at Marvel. The club is taking this very, very seriously, and I love that they've come out and basically said to be repeatedly addressing these repugnant instances of racism is a blight on our game and society. I believe the club is going to be looking into this person, and you'd think that they'd get a ban of some sort to the football, and if they're a member, they're not going to be a member anymore. So we know how seriously the clubs treat this, and at Saints TV, I just want to convey that we also take this very seriously. And if there's any sign of this in our comments, anywhere on the channel at all, as well as at the games, we will be banning people from the channel, and we will be dealing with it as best as we can. So I just wanted to start the video straight off the bat, because to me, this is the most important thing to come from the last 7 days, and unfortunately it's the most disappointing. So let's all learn from this, let's all grow from this. And if you hear anything at the football and you think that's not on, stand up to it, report it, and let's deal with it together. Thanks. Okay, so now that we can talk about some of the good stuff, the game on the weekend, Saturday night against the Doggies. Who would have thought? Now, before I get fully into the preview, we just got to thank Inglewood Coffee Roasters, again, for sponsoring Saints TV Weekly. Columbia Blend Tea, I've got it here with the Inglewood mug that I believe you can purchase on their website. We've got 40% off, remember, so you've got the discount code, you've got all that stuff. So go on to inglewoodcoffeeroasters.com.au and redeem your 40% off on your products. It's an awesome deal. Saturday night, my mindset was going to the game, bring the heat. I reckon the Doggies are going to crack. And guess what? They did. We cracked them in half. We smashed them to pieces in a lot of that game. The only time they looked threatening was in the second quarter with 5 minutes to go, I think, and they booted 4 goals. But apart from that, the first quarter was relentless. The third quarter, the response after halftime was relentless. And the fourth term was party time, and we could sit back and enjoy the boys just tackling the shit out of Bulldogs players and kicking goals for fun. So it was such a good night at the football. I think it was one of those nights we can all just look back and go, bloody hell, for most of that game, I was just sitting back and enjoying the show. There wasn't many moments where I'm like out of my seat stressing and, oh my God, we're going to stuff this up. Even at halftime, Sainer in front of me turned around and asked me what my thoughts were. They said, what do you think? They got back into the game. You feeling a bit worried? I was like, I'm not worried at all. Like, the goals that they kicked, 3 of them were free kicks. And then the fourth one was a ricochet from Seb Ross in the middle of the ground that could have gone our way and we would have gotten a goal out the back. But it went the other way and they got a goal. So it was, a bit unfortunate. They got a bit of luck go their way, a couple of free kicks. A couple were there and a couple that weren't, I don't think. But I thought, well, if we continue just going the way we're going, it's up to the Doggies to keep up. And to be honest, they looked gassed 10 minutes into the last quarter. Even the commentary watching the replay said, these Bulldogs players are trailing, they look slow, they look lethargic, and the Saints boys are running on top of the ground. So, perfect performance, 51 points. You told me that before the game, I would have said, you're joking. I'd take a 2-point win, 51-point win. And to concede only, I think, 93 points in 2 games. 12 goals have conceded in 2 weeks, and I believe 5 or something of them are from free kicks. So if we could clean up the discipline in the back line, we're not conceding many goals. And, this is a back line that was pretty good last year, but it looks like it's at another level. And everyone in the lineup stood out. There wasn't a standout. They were all great. And I guess the only main disappointment to come from the night wasn't, performance-wise. It was, unfortunately, physically, Jack Steele on a broken collarbone. So it looks like he's going to be out for about 4 to 6 weeks. I think it happened in the third quarter and he played through. And I don't know why we just didn't sub him off and bring Windy on. But maybe the damage was done and it's not going to get any worse, potentially. So just play it out. But he came on with some strapping. All looked good. And then obviously in the morning after, we hear that broken collarbone scans were leaked and you could see the shatter. And it was pretty significant. So hopefully Steelo is all good for his 4 to 6 week recovery. I really, we really, we need him out there. We need as many players as we can out there. We keep losing players every game that we win. So it's really unfortunate, but at the same time, we get Windy back. Bytel could be back next week. And I really do believe that every injury that we get, for some reason, it just adds more resolve and more resilience to this lineup. And I think we're going to welcome that. And it makes us, again, very unpredictable. That midfield group of Clark, who looks like he's ready to take that step. Crouch. Gresh goes in there. And the beautiful thing is with Nasiah doing so well at halfback, I think there will be a lot of moments against Essendon on the weekend where we see Sinclair in there. And then you've got Sinks and Gresh and these guys in there rotating. Windy, Bytel potentially back in there. Filippo you could even throw in there. He's big enough, just chuck him in there. You reckon he'd be fine. So we've got variety, and I think, like our forward line, our midfield can be quite unpredictable. You don't know what our centre bounce sort of setup is going to be, and I think that's going to add another layer of mystery to this St Kilda lineup for opposition teams to handle, which is great that we can turn a negative like losing Steele, which last year was shitting our pants, and this year you're like, well, at least for me, I'm like, we'll be okay. I reckon we'll genuinely be, and this is on top of the other injuries we've got already, so can't believe what we're doing at the moment. Ross Lyon and the coaching panel are doing wonders, and I'm already so keen to see how we go on Saturday night against the Bombers in the big 150th anniversary game. We'll go through some VFL. So it was round 1 of the VFL. So Sandy played Southport Sharks on Saturday, and unfortunately they got battered 4-8-32 Sandy to Southport Sharks 17-16, 118. It was a massive win for Southport, and Sandy didn't look very good. And unfortunately, players like Cooper Sharman that I really want to stake his claim and get back into this starting 22, he only had, I think, the 12 disposals, didn't kick a goal. I'm not too sure if he played in the forward line or not. Tom Highmore did have 32, but when your team gets done by about 80-odd points, it's hard to kind of gauge whether that was a good 32 or it was, just a wasted 32 because you are a defender at the same time. So not a great start to the season for Sandy. Max Heath obviously played in the ruck as well, but they've got Essendon coming up on Sunday, so hopefully we can see a response there. So on top of what I mentioned at the very top of the show, which was obviously the club statement about the racial slur towards Jamara, on the flip side, I think it's going to be the 30th anniversary for Nikki Winmar's proud stance against racism at Victoria Park. And I believe on Tuesday, April 18, which this is awesome, there's going to be a traditional healing ceremony at Collingwood's Victoria Park on April 18. So this will be a free public event and would involve current and former AFL players, including Nikki Winmar, who's going to be there, which is awesome. Organisers were Nathan Lovett-Murray and Jason Tamiro, and said the event would provide an opportunity for people who have suffered racism to heal through ceremony and for the public to take part and reflect on their own attitudes towards First Peoples. So that's awesome. Like that's a great thing. And no, I really hope I can get down there. It's on April 18. So if you can get down there and get amongst it, please do. I think it's a really special moment. I think there's going to be a couple of healing ceremonies throughout the year, I believe. So this won't be the only one. So if you missed this, don't worry, there will be more. But it's just great to recognise what Nikki's done, 30 years ago, how iconic it is, and no doubt we're going to see that moment shared in the lead up to the 150th anniversary as one of those big, proud sort of St Kilda moments, and not just St Kilda moment, but for the AFL as well. It just completely changed the view, as a whole for the AFL in terms of racism and respect towards First Peoples. So that's awesome. I think that's going to be great. So if you can get down Tuesday, April 18th, at Victoria Park. So, yeah, get down if you can. Lastly, the 150th game itself. So we launched the Heritage Guernsey last week, and it looks bloody amazing. It's a replica, well, I would say it's a close replica of our 1966 Guernsey that we're going to be wearing on Saturday night against the Bombers at the G. So I think, this is a massive game. You know, talking about the game as a whole, to go 3-0. The last time we did that, last couple of times we did that was 2009 and 2010. Both times with Ross Lyon as coach, both times we played in a grand final. So we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but to go 3-0 with the team that we've got on the park, I think would be a huge statement. And to do it against the Bombers, who are also 2-0, their supporter base is up and about. They've got a much healthier list than us. It just feels like a statement game, you know, like just to really make everyone aware that this St Kilda side is really tough. They believe in everything that they're doing. They believe in their coaches, and most importantly, they believe in their teammates. There's not a lack of trust anywhere on the ground. The ball movement is improved, the kicking is improved, but the mental fragility is gone, it seems. You know, when we looked challenged in the last 2 weeks, we did not panic. And that's a big sign of improvement, especially for a team that's got so many new players and young players that haven't handled certain situations before. For them to take those situations in their stride and come out the other way even stronger and better is unbelievable. So the Bombers are going to have their work cut out. We're going to have our work cut out because the Bombers are one of those teams that we just don't know how to beat. You know, they're our bogey team. They always beat us, especially in marquee games. Spud's game last year and now the 150th this year. We need to go out there and go, that's not effing happening again. You embarrassed us when we're celebrating Spud's life last year. You are not going to ruin our 150th anniversary celebrations this year. It is not happening. That's the approach I want us to take. And no doubt Ross is going to drill that into them, that this is a big night for the footy club. We're going to make every single St Kilda supporter around Australia, around the world, proud. So it's a big game because if we win that, you got the Gold Coast, and I think you got Carlton, Gold Coast, and then Collingwood, and then Carlton or something. So there's a lot of games there that the way we're going, you know, you're just kind of like, oh, well, we'll see what happens. We're pretty comfortable with where we're at. And by then you might get a couple of players back, hopefully from injury. So every week that goes by is great because we're winning, but it's also another week closer to players getting back from injury. So, there's that as well, which is a great sign. So Saturday night, I'm not sure what time the game is. I'm assuming it's a 7:25 start at the G, but obviously get there early. There's going to be some celebrations. No doubt there's going to be a lot of familiar faces on the ground. There's going to be highlights, probably interviews. There might be some pre-game functions and stuff like that you can get to. It's going to be a fun night. So don't rock up at 7:20 when the boys are running out. Get there early. It's going to be hopefully 70-odd thousand, I'm hearing, which is awesome, especially with the Bombers doing so well. Their fans are going to come out and they're going to want to ruin our night. So get around us and, wear your colours loud and proud all week, and then Saturday night, MCG. Should be fun. Anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching Saints TV Weekly. Thank you to Inglewood Coffee Roasters again. So as I mentioned, www.inglewoodcoffeeroasters.com.au. Use the discount code SAINTS40 and you get 40% off coffee, tea and chai products. And the potty will be out tonight. Go on to YouTube as well. Subscribe to the channel Saints TV Pod. Go to Instagram. Follow us at Saints TV Pod. We want to hit 19K on Insta. And the potty's going to be out tonight. It's going to be fun. And then we've got plenty of content planned for the rest of the week as well in the lead up to the big 150th anniversary match. So can't wait for that. So thanks again for watching, Sainers. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video on the channel. So until then, take care, Sainers, and as always, go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.